Welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be making a floral swag and bow for this cute basket. If you haven't done so, please subscribe and don't forget to tap that bell for notifications on my uploads and live streams. And please like, share, comment, but please be kind with your comments. Here are the products I'm using. This basket with the Easter Bunny on it, that came from Walmart last year, I believe. It was either Walmart or Big Lots. I'm not 100% sure now. So I don't know if it's available this year or not. The ribbon was from Sam's. It's kind of a moss green and white buffalo check, some floral wire, and then I got 3 floral bushes from Hobby Lobby when they had them half price. And I already cut off 2 stems from each of the 3 bushes. That's what they look like. So it was yellow, pink, and lavender is the colors I chose. Now you can use floral tape as well, or just floral tape. I'm going to use wire. So I'm taking my first 2 stems, putting them together just like I showed, overlap them so they're connecting, and then wrap them very tightly with the floral wire so they don't come apart. Then I'm going to add a 3rd stem, and again I'm going to wrap very, very tightly. You don't want any movement. So if you're using floral tape, you would just keep adding floral tape each time. And there's a tip to using floral tape if you've never used it. I always cut it into sections, and then you want to pull it because you have to pull floral tape to release the glue or it doesn't work right. So I'm adding my 4th stem on the opposite side. And I cut the stems as long as I could, and then if I need to trim them off, I could trim them off, because it's better to go long and trim off some than to cut them too short, not be, and then you have to figure out how to make them longer. So there are, now I'm doing the purple flowers, and I'm not worried about how they're looking right now. I'm just connecting them together, and I'm using quite a bit of floral wire there. So I had to trim that off a little bit too. And that's my last stem. And like I said, that center section I'm going to make a bow, and I'm going to cover that up so you won't even see that floral wire. If you weren't doing a bow, then you'd want to do more stems, and you'd want to attach some there in the center, and then you'd probably want to use some floral tape to cover all that up. I cut that wire off, and I'm just wrapping it around. Make sure it's pushed down good so it doesn't poke you. Now you just need to fluff those flowers up. I'm just kind of moving them around a little bit, pulling them apart a little bit so they look more natural. You don't want them all scrunched up together. It doesn't look natural. So just as natural as you can make it look. You can see all that floral wire in the center there. Now there's different places you can attach this. You're not limited to one spot. You move it around and see where you like it. I actually liked it in several different places. Top, bottom, kind of off to the side at the top I liked, but I ended up deciding on the bottom. You could even put it a little bit more inside the basket if you wanted to. But I like to do stuff like, buy wall decor or something like this and then add to it, add something handmade to it to make it unique and different, and just make it yours. I'm pretty sure that basket came from Walmart. We got several Easter things like signs and stuff from Big Lots that were really, really pretty, but I'm pretty sure this sign came from Walmart. I'm getting some more floral wire to attach it to the basket. Since that basket has holes in it, it made it perfect to attach it to the end there. You want to wrap this floral wire around the basket and the swag several times to make sure it's nice and secure. And this will take a little while because you're having to go through a small hole there in the basket. And I'm kind of twisting it off to give it, nice and secure. You want it nice and tight so the swag doesn't fall down. And I'm just going to rush through this next part, me wrapping it around several times. Let's fast forward this a little bit so you don't have to watch the whole thing because it took a couple of minutes. And I'm doing several small pieces of floral wire because if I cut too long of a piece of floral wire, it would take forever to wrap it around and around through there because you're having to poke it through that small hole. Okay, so here you can see a close-up of how many times I wrapped it around there. You can see I did it several times. Now we will make the bow. Now I'm going to start with a tail. I want a pretty long tail there. So that's about 14 inches. Yeah, 14-inch tail. Just want to pinch that. Now you're going to measure out your loop and form your loop. And I just put it up against the swag to make sure that the loops were going to be big enough to cover that center section. And you're going to go back and forth every time you form a loop. You're going to go back and forth from left to right until you get the number of loops that you want. These are 8-inch loops. There's a 5th loop, so I would suggest at least 6 loops. And every time you form a loop, you want to twist the ribbon before making your next loop. So see, again, I'm holding it up to it to see how full it looks. How many more do I want to make? Do I want to make any more? That's what I suggest for whatever project you're doing. So I wanted it pretty full, so I'm going to go ahead and make 2 more. So that's 8 loops total. Now I'm going to cut my last tail, and I'm making it the same length as the first tail. You could do different lengths if you wanted to. And then I'm moving the loop or the last tail to make sure it hangs down at the bottom just like the first tail. And then you can take a chenille stem or a zip tie for that center and just make sure you twist it really, really tight. The tighter the center of your bow is, the better the bow is going to look. Now I'm just going to take that chenille stem in that same hole where I was wrapping the floral wire, and that chenille stem is a metallic iridescent, so it's just it goes with any colors whatsoever. And it's not going to stand out too much. And again, I want to pull that really snug and then twist it off really, really tight. And I wrapped it in the center there and gave it a twist. And then put it back through the hole again, so it's going to be in there on that basket really, really snug. So I won't have to worry about the bow falling down either. Now you want to fluff up your loops and move them around until you get it where you want it. So you make it like nice and pretty. Just put your fingers in those loops and kind of fluff them up, move them around wherever you want them. Plus I want to hold the basket up because this basket is made to hang on the wall, so I want to see how everything looks when it's upright. Now I'm going to cut a V-shape or a dovetail on the bottom of these tails. That's my preference for the tails. I just think it's the prettiest. I'm also taking a lighter and just very quickly heating close to the edge so the ribbon won't fray. You don't actually want to touch the flame to the ribbon. I'm getting it really, really close though and quickly moving it so it doesn't scorch the ribbon. And then on the tails, you can do different things. What I'm doing is rolling it up, and then I'm going to pull on them and it'll make a really pretty spiral. But you can bend tails around however you want. You can make them look differently, and it'll completely change the look of your bow however you do it. But I like the little spirals for that. And of course you could have done more tails, and if you decide that you wanted more tails, just cut off the length you want, double it, and then attach like some floral wire or chenille stems and then put it back in that hole at the bottom of the basket, and you could have 4 or 6 tails and you wouldn't have to worry about redoing the bow. And I'm taking a little hot glue and just putting just a little bit of hot glue along the basket and the swag, just for a little extra security, but I don't want to add a lot. I don't want to ruin the basket. Just a little bit along the edges there. And when it's hanging up, you can't see any of that mess, I promise. Isn't that cute? It didn't take that long. It wasn't that complicated, but it just completely changed the looks of the basket. And I really loved the colors of those flowers, and they were real realistic looking flowers. Hobby Lobby has some really pretty flowers. So does Michael's. And I like to buy them when they're on sale though, because they're so expensive. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this Easter project. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell for notifications. Comment, like, share. As always, be kind with your comments and be kind to others. And happy crafting, everyone.